Welcome. Happy Heavensturn, Final Fantasy XIV's New Year's celebration. This year in the West, we celebrate the year of Oshan the Wanderer, my personal favorite. In the Far East, it is the year of the Ushi, or the Ox, and travelers from the East are back again to share their Far Eastern traditions with Eorzea. There are decorations in the housing districts and the three main cities, however Kugane still seems unaware of their own holiday. Heavensturn is currently active and will last until January 18th. To participate in this event, you need any combat class or job at or above level 15. Well, you can actually do the quest on any class, but you will need to do some fighting. You will probably also want to get up to the level 15 MSQ quest, the Call of the Sea. In each of the three main cities, you will find Ushi Doshin, who will tell you all about the holiday and that you need to go to Limsa Lominsa. Make your way to the Aft Castle and speak to Ushi Bugio. Hey Mr. Bugio, how's your brother Nezumi doing? After a quick spiel on proper rice preparation, he gets to the issue at hand. With the permission of the Adventurers Guild, instead of the Cyclops they got 2 years ago, he hired a Gozu, which seems to be a sort of giant minotaur, to pound the mochi this year. Why you gotta get giant monsters all the time? Just hire a few Rogadin or a couple dozen Lalafell. Seems the Mochi Dakin, or dude in charge of the mochi, is late in reporting in, so with no beating around the mochi pot, you are sent out to check on him. Well, not before introducing you to the ox, Wakamaru, whom he sends with you to help. Like last year, the Fate spawns in Middle Enosha, southeast of the Zephyr Gate. If you don't see the Fate, just wait. It might be a while. When the Fate begins, you find the Gozu happily pounding mochi when the mochi comes to life and attacks again. This Fate is pretty much like last year's, except you have a rampaging Gozu to contend with. More on this later. When you finish the Fate, you get some Heavensturn tickets. When you return, the Mochi Dude informs you that it seems a sliver of last year's Mochi monster somehow survived and made it into this year's supplies. The Bugio thanks you, but then he says he has more work for you. Your reward is you can choose from one of 2 Ox Kabuto. You also get an achievement. Speaking of that work, for the second quest, you and Wakamaru are asked to give out free samples of mochi to the people of Limsa. Well, you hand them out. Wakamaru just offers a few words of wisdom. This just requires going to 4 locations in the city and watching cutscenes involving various characters who live in Limsa. These probably vary slightly, depending on who you've met already. When you return, you get some experience and 10 Advent Cake magicked prisms. The shop is open after you finish the first quest, and this year they take Heavensturn tickets in exchange for items. Talk to the Far Eastern vendor, or Ushi Shonen, right next to the Ushi Doshin. She sells the 2 Kabuto from the quest, one of which you should already have. You should buy the one you didn't get and go place them in the armoire right away. These are like samurai helmets in the style of this year's totem animal, the ox, and they can be dyed any color. And no, they do not show on Viera or Hrothgar. The handmade Akabeku, or red cow, is a bobble-headed toy that is made after a legendary cow from the Aizu region of Japan. These toys are believed to ward off smallpox. This is a tabletop item, so it can be placed on the floor or on things designated as tables. Back again are the Zoni Gathering Buff Food and the Advent Cake's magicked prisms. The Fate is called the Mochi That Ate Vilbrand. When the Mochi Dakin shows up, somebody needs to talk to him to start the Fate. This is a level 5 Fate that knocks you down to 10 if you're any higher. Like last year, you have to defeat the giant living mochi and the many advent mochi that spawn while avoiding various ground AoEs. However, in addition, there is a rampaging Gozu that cannot be targeted or damaged. He's just there, so there are more things to avoid. He will charge at individuals and swing his hammer from time to time. I find this easier as a ranged job, but it's quite doable on any job. Since this is a combat fate, your chocobo can be helpful for extra damage and healing. And as I said, when you finish you get some Heavensturn tickets. You also get a little experience, some seals, and gil. This is my 4th Heavensturn celebration. It's nice to add some more to my funny hat collection. Speaking of which, I find it somewhat disturbing that Viera and Hrothgar are left out again. The Kabuto are the main reward from Heavensturn events, and until recently were the most universally usable since housing is expensive and requires a higher level. I know things have been hard lately, but I hope they do start doing something about this. New Year's is pretty big in Japan. One article I read said it was the most important holiday of the year. It's weird that Heavensturn tends to be one of the simpler events in-game. In my Valentine's Day video last year, I mentioned that 2 years worth of Heavensturn hats were not available from the Calamity Salvager. This seems to have been fixed. Anyway, show your support by liking, commenting, or subscribing. I hope you had a happy New Year's Day, and I hope this year is better than last. Goodbye.